and thank you for joining the August Network News. What we're going to start with is a potential, and I would like to reiterate this word, this is a potential law, and it's the coercion of commercial motor vehicle drivers. Tim has sent you some information about this, and also I've written a blog that will be posted to our Elite Freight Agents group on LinkedIn. I'll demonstrate that to you here in a moment. But keep in mind, this is a proposed rule. We are allowed to provide comments to the FMCSA until August 11th, and I have indicated the website on the slide here, and hopefully you can share this information with your customers. We do not believe that the customers realize the impact this could have on their businesses, and you being the leaders of the industry are going to be able to share this with them. The particular coercion law has been in place since 2009 with motor carriers, and what it was developed and designed to do was to prevent motor carriers from mandating that drivers drive unsafe vehicles and drive over the hours of service to get freight moved, bottom line. Well, what they did was this year they decided they were going to expand that rule and include not only the motor carriers themselves, but now the shippers, receivers, and transportation intermediaries such as ourselves. Keep in mind, this law has been in place with the motor carriers since 2009, and there's been 68 reports each year annualized. It is not a big problem. But the FMCSA has gotten involved, and now it could become a huge problem for us. So what we are asking is that you share with your customers. The bottom line to this legislation, if enacted, says if actions are generated by any of the above parties, that's the shippers, the receivers, or the transportation intermediaries, and are proven by the driver, which threatens his or her future access to freight, penalizes financially, or threatens employment as a result of requiring them to operate unsafe equipment or beyond their hours of service, can be held liable. The penalty is $11,000, up to $11,000 fine per proven situation, and could, in the event of enough proven circumstances, cause you to lose your license as an operating transportation intermediary. So you can look for the blogs and send those to your customers. Keep in mind, this is not a law yet. If it does get passed, which we really hope it doesn't, we'll let you know the dates. The next thing, though, that we'd like to do is, well, what do I do now? What am I going to do that's going to get me ready if this does go into a law? The simplest number one thing you can do to eliminate the coercion issue is do not talk to the driver. If you only talk to that driver's dispatcher, you can in no way, shape, or form be implicated. You also cannot impose a fee for a late delivery. That would, in essence, be telling them, if you run out of hours, I'm going to financially penalize you for not meeting that delivery. I know we have crane shipments. I understand that. But this is why it's so important you talk to your customers. You just can't do that. What happens if you absolutely have to talk to the driver? If you have to talk to the driver because the FMCSA has not given us clear direction what they need to prove we've done our due diligence as far as hours of service goes, you need to mark or ask them, do you have the hours of service? There's no audio, so yeah. Can you hear me? if you can hear me, will you please send me a question? I'm being told here that I am not being heard. But I see slides. Oh, sorry. Attendees still on hold.
The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome to the Network News August edition. We're so sorry for that. Thank you guys for sharing with us information. Let's get going, shall we? You've seen some of the slides. What you're looking at here is this particular proposed ruling is not a law yet. We have until August 11th to provide our comments to the FMCSA at the website that is shown here. At this website, you'll be able to put your comments in regarding how this legislation could impact your small business. The law has been in place to where coercion is illegal for a motor carrier to dispatch their drivers, either requiring them to be out of service or mandating that they drive an unsafe vehicle. Since 2009, when this law went into place, there have been only 68 reported complaints by drivers against motor carriers. It is not a very large problem. However, the FMCSA is now involved, and as a result of that, with the FMC being involved, they are now saying we're going to expand this law and include shippers, receivers, and third-party intermediaries. We don't believe your shippers understand the impact of this, so we're hoping that you can share. The bottom line is what this legislation is going to require is it states actions generated by any of the above parties, being the shipper, receiver, or third-party intermediary, are proven by driver, which threatens his or her future access to freight, penalizes them financially, or threatens employment as a result of requiring them to operate unsafe equipment or beyond their hours of service can be held liable. The penalty for proven liable is up to $11,000 per occurrence, and if enough occurrences are reported to the FMCSA or OSHA, it can result in the loss of your license. We are going to have on our website a blog that you can send to your customers. We ask that you do that. We also have got no date yet that this could become a law because, of course, it's not yet. So please start giving your comments. You have until the 11th. So what can you do now? In the event this does become a law, there's a few steps you can take to protect yourself and your business now. The very first thing you can do will allow you to prevent or eliminate your ever having any concern is just don't talk to the drivers. If your business allows you to dispatch directly to the motor carrier's dispatcher or customer service center, do that. The more communications you have with the driver, the more you're going to have to protect yourself. The second thing you can do besides talking to the dispatcher or the customer service of the motor carrier is do not threaten or impose to threaten a late delivery fee. All that driver has to tell you is that he ran out of hours, and if he missed the appointment and you've told him he's going to be penalized, you could be held liable for this $11,000 fee. Now, we're not ignorant, and we do understand that there's some certain situations where you absolutely have to talk to that driver. If there's no way around it and you absolutely have to talk to that driver, we've got a few ideas for you. The very first thing to do, because the FMCSA has not provided us clear direction as to how do we prove we asked, this is what we're thinking to do until we get that direction, and I did place comments telling them, you can't make this a law until you protect the shipper, the receiver, and the third party by telling us what kind of proof do we need. So right now what we suggest is that if you do have a critical delivery shipment or even a critical pickup appointment, you ask the driver, if you have to talk to the driver, do they have the hours of service to handle the pickup or delivery? And if they tell you yes, on our internal comments tab of our key point tool, make this notation. We feel that that is a permanent record and we would be able to print it and at least submit it in the event a driver does place a claim with OSHA or FMCSA. And until we have some type of mandate, that's really the only thing that we can do. If the driver does tell you he can't, do not pressure them. Make sure your dispatchers on your staff understand you cannot pressure a driver to do something that he says he's out of hours to do. And if the driver calls you and says that his truck is unsafe and cannot complete the delivery, you cannot force them or penalize them or threaten that you will never load them again. We're sorry, but hopefully this does not become a law. The next thing we'd like to share with you is some of the key point enhancements that are going to be put in place. It should be in place by Friday. You're going to be getting, along with a copy of this pre-recorded session, you're going to be receiving a Survey Monkey from me in a separate cover, and we're going to be asking you, I'm going to switch over now, and I'm going to demonstrate to you what the key point tool is going to do for us. You're going to, on the Survey Monkey, you're going to be receiving a question that says, do you want us to enable the feature I'm going to show you in a second? And if you do want us to enable it, what is the primary phone number you want to use? Today, as you know, you're using Order Entry or Order Entry Lite to get to the point where you can post your shipments. What we are going to be, and is turned on now, this is turned on now, is called Offer Entry. Let's just say, for an example, that your customer is rate shopping or truck shopping. So you know that you're in competition with others. You may not necessarily get this load, and you do not have to cover this load. You can go in and use the Offer Entry Lite, or not Lite, Offer Entry option. It requires minimal information. At this point, you're watching me, and I'm just tabbing. There are only 3 required fields. 4, I should say. You have to have an origin. You have to have a destination. You have to, in order to post it, know what type of equipment you want. And you also have to select your division. At the point you've selected your division and you've identified the equipment, you update that record. When you've updated that record, and it's just because I'm doing Jacksonville to Jacksonville, when you update that record, this is the new feature. If you want this feature, you can post it direct to DAT by pressing the DAT post button. There is only one primary phone number per division allowed with this feature. It's a free feature. It prevents you from needing to go out to post everywhere or direct to the DAT site to post it. We also, by week's end, should have the direct link to the ITS working from this button. So if you select DAT post, it will go not only to DAT, but ITS. You will be getting an email from myself or Shelly Sanderson as soon as we confirm with you that that is turned on. But right now, every division is set up with a DAT post option. We just need to confirm the primary number before you actually hit that button. Another thing that you can use the offer options for is if everyone in your office is entering possible loads, at this point you have the ability to select those offers by any of these criteria. And if a driver does respond back to one of your offers, you also have this feature right here where you've got the ability to look at all of the orders that are out there. You can double click on one, go to it, see the information that was put in, and then you have the ability at this point to create an order when the driver says they're going to take it and you've confirmed that that driver is an approved carrier for network, you can make an order right here and right now out of it. The nice thing about the DAT post feature is the moment you turn the offer into an order, it will immediately remove the post from the site of DAT and also ITS, which is going to save you a few more steps, we feel, and we hope that you like that feature as well. At this point, I've just covered that. What we are going to be doing, we're not going to need our whole 30 minutes today. Shelley will be sending out by Friday to everyone written in screens that you just saw of the offer, and also confirming with you by then whether or not the ITS feature is turned on. And if you've given us your primary number, you know your DAT is ready to go. So if you have any questions or thoughts about this, please don't hesitate to email us with this. And as we send out the written instructions for the use of the offer entry, you are welcome to call us and ask for a demonstration if you so choose. And we thank you for your time today.